We don't need no polymerization. We don't need no brain control. Get it? Because they're both spell cards. Hey! What's up, guys? Martin, also known as LittleKuriboh, right here in the hizzy, in the Dizzle Academy, here with yet another episode of LittleKuriboh Watches YGO GX, which, if you've been a slifer slacker to this video series, is a show where I watch an episode of the YGO GX dub, and then I get on camera and I talk shit about it. Not in a critical way so much as it is just a general shit-talking mise en scène. That is probably the most pretentious thing that will ever be said on LittleKuriboh Watches Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, I tell a lie, because Bastion is involved, so there's going to be a lot more pretension where that came from. And if you want to watch along with me, you can watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX on various formats, such as Crunchyroll, I believe, such as Hulu, YouTube. There's DVDs out there, so please, go out there and support the show with legality. Last week we watched the Maiden in Love episode where Blair Flanagan, 8-year-old girl, was able to fool the highly critical Duel Academy teaching staff into thinking she was a fully grown boy. And after a wild goose chase of sorts, she ended up falling in love with Jaden. So counting Alexis, that's about 2 female characters that have managed to somehow develop feelings for Jade and Yuki in the first 20 episodes of this show. And of all the implausible events that have taken place within the franchise of Yu-Gi-Oh!, I believe that to be the least believable. I gonna like him. He's Jade and Yuki. But yeah, without any more delay, let's dive right in to episode 21 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It's finally of legal drinking age. And this episode is entitled The Duel Off, Part 1. You know, I'd rather be dueled off than dueled on. I don't want people standing on me while they duel. And I certainly wouldn't want people to have a riding duel on top of me, because that's just vehicular manslaughter, with card games involved. So none of that. Don't step on me while you're dueling, with a few sexy exceptions. And the episode starts at the Duel Academy docks, where Miss Dorothy is overseeing a bunch of ship workers who are unloading a number of boxes full of booster packs. Oh, so I guess these trading cards didn't deserve a military escort. Japan must have realized that it simply wasn't feasible to devote so many of their military resources to guarding children's trading cards once they were easily invaded and defeated by Switzerland. Yeah, sorry, in the GX universe, Switzerland is now a dominant world power because they used so much of their military might just saying, hey, don't go after Pot of Greed. We see some bubbles rising to the surface of the water just beneath the docks, and Miss Dorothy is momentarily distracted. Is this episode about to turn into The Shape of Water starring Miss Dorothy? Because I am all kinds of up for that. Miss Dorothy in an Academy Award-winning erotic motion picture set at Duel Academy. And somehow it turns out that the merman is just another egg witch thief that used to be an Obelisk Blue student that mutated once he started living with the sea creatures. I just think that would be a beautiful romantic subplot that they're just not gonna bother with. Then, closer to the Academy Island shoreline, a man emerges from the water wearing scuba gear, and he takes his mask off, and it turns out to be this big-chinned, scruffy get.
There it is, the scoop of a lifetime. Duel Academy.
I mean, he's not wrong. The sheer number of security transgressions that take place on an average day at Duel Academy alone will probably make his career. I mean, for fuck's sake, there are illegal experiments being performed on monkeys to make them better at dueling here. He's gonna somehow uncover the fact that Professor Crowler has fused together a bunch of the students in order to form some sort of human hybrid ancient gear golem statue. I'm just saying he's got his work cut out for him. Speaking of things that could drive a person totally insane by being exposed to them, the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX opening theme. You'd be driven insane realizing that you could never come up with a better song than it. We then cut back to the episode where Professor Crowler is doing a bang-on impression of the 4Kids producers when they heard what the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's premise was going to be.
Are you out of your mind?
We then see that he's in a staff meeting alongside other Duel Academy faculty members, such as Professor Banner, Chancellor Shepard, and for some reason, Zane. Professor Pharaoh the Cat is also there. Brah! Yes, I teach a very intensive course in cuddling. I let all the students practice on me, and when I'm satisfied with their cuddling, they get to stop and I give them an A. A, and I have never given an A. Ain't I a stinker? Meow meow. Crowler is freaking out because the school duel is coming up against North Academy, which is the school founded by Elijah Wood's character from the Rob Reiner film of the same name. Crowler insists that Zane should represent them in the school duel. Chancellor Shepard says, yeah, Zane is our best guy, but North Academy is using a first-year student. So in the interests of plot convenience, competition, it's only fair that they should use a first-year student themselves. Zane is understanding of this.
You understand, don't you, Zane?
Of course, Chancellor.
And I also really don't care. Zane suggests that Jaden Yuki be the student that represents Duel Academy. And Banner agrees and says that he thinks that Jaden is the best new student the school has. And he asks Pharaoh the cat if he agrees. Brah, don't bring me into this. You know how much I hate school politics. I hate it almost as much as I hate bath time. Hiss! Hiss, I say! I don't like it, meow! Crowler is desperate to think of an alternative for Jaden.
Wait, I have it! Bastion Misawa! He should represent us!
Can I just go on record as saying that Bastion Misawa in no way represents me? Even if he ends up representing the entire school, I just want it out there. Chancellor Shepard suggests that Jaden and Bastion have a duel off to decide who represents them. Oh, it's gonna be the ultimate battle between punk ass versus posh ass. It's gonna be chilling out with the crew in the schoolyard versus studying by yourself in your house. Whoever wins, we lose, and also so do they. We then see the scruffy-looking scuba reporter guy sneaking through Duel Academy. Here's a quick video representation of how he's doing it.
Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
Scuba reporter guy opens a random locker, which of course isn't locked because this school, and grabs a Slifer red uniform from inside it. And he says he's got to blend in. Meanwhile, in class, Professor Banner is explaining to Bastion and Jaden the terms of their duel off.
You will duel Bastion, and the victor will represent Duel Academy in the school duel against North Academy.
You know, Bastion's only smiling there because he just remembered a really cool equation that he thought of. Also, what is the difference between a duel and a duel off? Because from what I can gather, a duel is where two people have a duel and the winner gets to win. Whereas in this duel off, the two people are having a duel and the winner gets to win. So what's the difference? Why do you need to add duel off? I tell you what, there isn't a difference. After class, Cyrus congratulates Jaden on the prospect of him being in the school duel, as according to Cyrus, Jaden would be making history, as no Slifer Red has ever been in that role. You know, Bastion would also be making history if he ended up in the school duel, as it would be the first time that a plank of wood wearing clothes would also have made it into the school duel. Jaden and Bastion exchange a few words of encouragement and then fist bump each other, which is easily the least posh thing that Bastion has ever done. He actually has to go home and have a long posh cry afterwards. Before he leaves, Bastion explains that he's designing a whole new deck in order to challenge Jaden's, and Cyrus is rightfully concerned about it.
Bastion's designed a whole deck just to duel you with?
I don't know if you should be really honored or really scared.
Well, it is Bastion, so if I were you, I would be afraid. Be very afraid. We then see the scuba reporter guy wearing the Slifer Red costume approaching random students and trying to get their attention.
Hey, fellow duelists, what's shaking around here?
Out of the way, you Slifer slime.
Whoa.
Yes, he is literally being the anime embodiment of the how do you do fellow kids meme. Jaden, Chumley, and Cyrus spot the reporter guy, trying with limited success to approach a raw yellow student.
How are things?
Beat it, Slifer Sludge.
Wait! Man, why won't anyone here talk to me?
I don't know, probably because you're about 10 years older than everybody else here and it terrifies them. But what do I know? Jaden approaches the reporter and is like, hey, how come you're here? You're so old. Which is a fair question.
You're old. Really old. How can you be a Slifer?
Oh my god, they've managed to somehow take how I feel when I meet younger anime fans at cons and put it in the show. That feeling of being old and disillusioned and completely out of your element. That's what it looks like. Later, Jaden has invited the reporter to eat with them at the Slifer Red dorm. And while he looks at the food on his tray with disappointment, Jaden is busy stuffing his face with pastries.
They were gonna install a garbage disposal, but Jaden solved that problem.
Oh, nice of the show to acknowledge that Jaden Yuki is just a human garbage receptacle. At night, Jaden is going through his deck, laying it all out on the table, and Cyrus compliments it, and then wonders out loud what Bastion's deck is going to look like.
I wonder what kind of deck Bastion's gonna have.
Don't know, but it sounds like he put some major time and brain juice into it.
Please don't talk about Bastion's juices on this show. It's just gonna cause a... Oh! I knew that was gonna happen! Meanwhile, the secret reporter guy is still hanging out with them, and he realizes that he's never gonna uncover any secrets just hanging out with these kids. And you can see why he became a reporter, what with impressive insight like that. And then he spots the field spell card Skyscraper on the floor, and he starts having a Nam flashback or something.
Skyscraper. The card that ruined dueling for me.
Skyscraper, the card that killed my parents. And then the reporter starts flashing back to his storied career as a card game trading card guy. And it's all done in a sort of still frame, sketchy manga style, which is actually kind of cool and interesting. You know, I mean, cool considering that it is the story of how the Skyscraper field spell card ruined card games for him. And because of the limitations of the flashback style, we can't really deduce exactly what's going on. But at one point we do see him on all fours, which obviously means he just lost a card game. That's the only explanation. Having seen that the reporter is clearly going through some sort of mild anxiety attack, Jaden is very delicate when speaking to him.
Hey! You cool old-timer?
The reporter explains that his name isn't old-timer, it's Gerard. Do you think he's trying to be a bit of a completionist with this news report that he's working on? Jaden notices the Skyscraper card in Gerard's hand. Skyscraper card, reporter Gerard. And Jaden asks him if he likes that card too.
You like that card too?
Huh? No way. You'd have to like dueling first.
Yeah, it's not like I like you or anything, Skyscraper-kun. Cyrus asks Gerard if he doesn't like dueling, then what the hell's he doing at Duel Academy? Yeah, because he's the idiot for not liking dueling, not the people who have willingly signed up for an education almost exclusively in card games. Yeah, Gerard's the dummy in this world. Gerard explains that he just doesn't like it because he's not very good at it, and Chumley empathizes with him, saying that he also isn't very good at card games, but that's starting to change. See, Chumley says that hanging out with Jaden and Cyrus is teaching him how to be a better duelist. He doesn't, however, mention that hanging out with Jaden and Cyrus has made him complicit in a number of crimes. You know, those are minor details. Gerard is very put off by how much interest these kids are showing in him, but then he realizes that if these kids like to pry so much, they might be able to help him with his story. And then we see that Jaden and Cyrus are standing up, Gerard is sat on a stool, and Chumley is on the floor. Because apparently somebody started an impromptu game of whose line is it anyway, stand, sit, lie down without me knowing. Gerard then casually asks if any of them have heard anything about kids at school going missing.
Do you know anything about a rumor floating around where kids here go missing?
Does he mean the abandoned dorm?
Oh yeah, remember that old plot point? You know, that minor subplot of people being abducted? You'd think it would have been a bigger deal in the last 20 episodes or so, but no, it was just a footnote. This, of course, reminds Jaden of their traumatic experience in the abandoned dorm, where a man potentially died and there might have been terrifying demonic spirits at work. So, of course, remembering it causes him to pull that face.
Yeah. See, we kind of wandered inside it once. Very strange place.
Oh, that's all you're gonna say about the time that you saw the Undertaker murdered in front of you? Like, even if you didn't believe that it was real, you'd think that you'd tell that story. But no, yeah, a very strange place. We then go to the abandoned dorm, where Alexis is putting down yet another rose for her brother. It's funny because every time she comes back to the abandoned dorm and she sees one of the roses that she's put down there, she thinks to herself that whoever kidnapped her brother must have left that rose there. That's just how suspicious and paranoid she is. Alexis is then approached by Gerard, who asks her if she's heard anything about these missing kids.
Listen, those missing students aren't for your amusement. You ought to just mind your own business, got it?
Yeah, because he was definitely showing up here to be amused by missing kids. Oh, this guy's here asking questions about missing kids. He obviously wants to play some sort of prank. It'd be funny if the police showed up and they were like, Alexis, do you know anything about these missing kids? And she's always like, hey, those missing kids aren't for your amusement. Off. They aren't for your amusement. Yeah, because Gerard was totally planning to make a fairground out of them. Once Alexis has left, Gerard starts taking pictures of the abandoned dorm, using his state-of-the-art camera that looks like he won it from a Chuck E. Cheese. At the Raw Yellow dorm, Bastian is still wide awake, as he has no need for sleep, being that he is an elder being from another dimension that will one day feast upon the collective souls of all mankind. Also, he's up late just browsing equation porn. Here's a good one. What is the square root of 69? Everyone knows that it's 8.306. I'm gonna jerk off now. I call it farping. It's like fapping except more posh. Bastian's frustration cannot be understated.
Countless equations, a myriad of theorems, yet still, I haven't quite solved the problem that is
Love?
Jaden's deck.
Oh. And Bastian appears to be looking at some sort of highly futuristic Wikipedia page that shows you what various Yu-Gi-Oh cards do via some sort of animated sequence.
The Thunder Giant. He can destroy a monster with up to 2,400 attack points as soon as he's summoned.
So he has all the resources of Duel Academy at his disposal, but he still has to go on the Yu-Gi-Oh fan wiki to see what Jaden's monsters do, after having seen them multiple times. Bastian frantically tries to find a means to prevent Jaden from using his fusion monsters, which is weird because he's not scribbling any equations on any surfaces. So for him, it's a very unorthodox method of research.
Wait a moment. That's it. It's so obvious.
All I have to do is get my game off. He'll never see it coming. Posh. The next morning at the Slifer dorm, it's time for breakfast.
All right, guys, get your eat on.
How about you get your off on? Jaden is busy stuffing his face before the big duel off against Bastian, and he says the hard part is remembering to swallow. We're not touching that one. Cyrus says that explains why we're missing so many forks, which is actually an ingenious piece of writing when you think about it, because it goes a long way to explain why everyone in this show is using chopsticks, because Jaden ate all the forks. Not necessarily all the forks, but enough of the forks that they need to resort to chopsticks. It also goes a long way toward proving that Jaden's a fuckwit, so it just adds a little bit more nuance to the show, you know? Cyrus comes down pretty hard on Jaden for choosing to focus on eating rather than studying, and Chumley says that Cyrus is being very anti-licious. Add it to the anti-list.
But if Jaden's going to win today's match, he's gonna need to be a lean, mean dueling machine.
Yeah, he's gonna eat lightning and crap elemental hero Thunder Giant. Cyrus then wonders where that guy Gerard went, and Jaden says he doesn't care. Once again there, Jaden Yuki proving that he doesn't give two shits about the fate of another human being. Real turn up for the books, that. In the duel arena, Crowler gives Bastian a grandiose introduction.
Introducing first, from the Raw dorm, Bastian Misawa!
Bastian 316 says that I just solved a number of equations. And then Crowler gives Jaden the only introduction that he is deserving of.
And then, from Slifer, some kid.
Nailed it. From the stands, Professor Banner and Chancellor Shepard are watching with great interest, and Pharaoh the Cat is watching with great cuteness. Brah! This is almost as intense as that time I caught that red circle of light that was trying to escape me. They couldn't evade me for long, though. King of catching laser pointer lights, bitch! Alexis and Zane are even watching from on high.
It'll be instincts versus intelligence here.
I guess. Who cares?
Huh? Alexis?
How dare you suggest that you're not interested in a card game? I didn't even care that Jaden broke into my dorm room with a girl. But if you're not interested in a card game, Alexis, I might have to report you. You know, people have been expelled for less. Elsewhere, Gerard is sneaking
Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
into the library, and he plugs his Nintendo DS into one of the computer terminals. I don't think that's how Street Pass works. Jaden and Bastian's duel begins. begins. Sorry, their Duel Off begins. It's a very important distinction. And Bastion begins by summoning Carbonedon in defense mode. And I'm sure if I'd seen Beast Wars at any point in my life, I would be making all kinds of references to it right now. But I haven't, so I won't. Just come up with your own Beast Wars joke. It'll be infinitely better than anything I could have said, because I don't know what it is. Jaden criticizes Bastion, saying, "Oh, you spent all this time on a new deck, but you still just bring out Carbonedon." Yeah, Jaden, you are not the guy who should be criticizing other people for relying on the same monster types over and over again. Jaden, the master of originality, summons his elemental hero Bustina and then uses it to attack Carbonedon, which results in a minor explosion. Or just like a fucking nuke went off, Bastion is at least momentarily impressed.
You don't waste any time. I like that.
You know, unless you count the last 24 hours where he was just stuffing his face and chatting to journalists instead of studying. But yeah, he doesn't waste any time. Bastion then summons Oxygeddon in attack mode. But before Bastion can successfully attack, Jaden activates his trap card Hero Barrier, which is like when you put a velvet rope around Captain America. Don't touch him, he's too beautiful. This card allows Jaden to negate an attack as long as he has an elemental hero on the field.
Sorry, Bastion, but Burstinatrix isn't busted just yet.
Yeah, but see what happens when she racks up a 5-star rating on Grand Theft Auto. Pretty sure she'll be busted then. Jaden summons Sparkman. Sparkman. And activates the Constitution spell card, which gives him the right to bear arms. It also allows him to switch Oxygeddon to defense mode.
Now he has to switch into defense mode.
So Bustina is now able to attack and destroy it. But Bastion is quick to point out.
Whoops. Looks like someone has forgotten their chemistry.
Well, it probably doesn't help that they don't go to a school that teaches chemistry, but sure, he forgot.
Fire and oxygen. They don't mix, Jaden.
I thought fire couldn't exist without oxygen. So surely they do mix, like really well. I mean, maybe I forgot my chemistry as well, but isn't that right? Bastion explains that when Oxygeddon gets taken out by a pyro type, the damage doesn't just go to Bastion's life points, but to his opponents as well. You see, Jaden, if you'd stayed up late looking at shitty animated gifs of monsters, you would have known that. The duel arena is engulfed in flames, which of course have no effect on anybody in the duel arena because the physics of this show are extremely inconsistent. Looks like somebody forgot their physics. Bastion and Jaden both drop to 3,200 life points.
Sweet move!
Jaden, it was your move. Despite losing those life points, Jaden says he would do it all over again anyway, because now Bastion's side of the field is clear. So he attacks directly with Sparkman and takes Bastion's life points down to 1,600. This impresses Chancellor Shepard.
Zane was right about that boy. He's quite a duelist.
It's true. We teach those Slifers well when they don't teach class.
Have you guys thought about talking to these kids about their tendency to ditch class? Have you thought about contacting their parents or no? Okay, never mind. Bastion then summons Hydrageddon in attack mode. He'd summon Carmageddon as well, but they banned it at Duel Academy. And he uses it to def Bastinaroy. This causes Hydrageddon's special ability to activate, allowing Bastion to summon yet another Hydrageddon. And then Bastion activates his equip spell, Living Fossil, which is clearly just his posh fursona. His posh sona, you might call it. Okay, after seeing Bastion with this card, how can you possibly deny him his poshness? I'm talking to you, you poshgate pillocks. Look at that definitive proof of poshness. Look at it. Bastion explains that he can use this equip spell to bring back a monster from his graveyard. And by using the spell card Bonding H2O, Bastion fuses his 2 Hydro monsters and his 1 Oxy monster to summon Water Dragon. Jaden takes a break from trying to digest various food utensils to say this.
Well, Bastion, it's like they always say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Oh, hey, one of his less obnoxious catchphrases. Can we have more of that and less of get your blank on? Jaden draws Polymerization and attempts to fuse Sparkman with Bubbleman, presumably to give him an even more bubble-shaped bottom. But Bastion thwarts this attempt by activating his trap card, Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell, which allows him to destroy the spell card that Jaden just used just by discarding a spell card of his own. So he destroys Jaden's Polymerization card.
You can no longer use the card that was destroyed by this effect for the remainder of the duel.
Well, yeah, but he's got Fusion Gate in his deck, so he doesn't really need Polymerization.
Wait, I can't use Polymerization anymore?
I'm afraid not.
which essentially means you can't use any of your fusion monsters anymore either.
Yeah, but you have Fusion Gate in your deck, so you don't really need polymerization.
No fusions, but that's how Jaden wins all his duels.
Yeah, but he's got Fusion Gate in his deck, so he doesn't really need polymerization. Am I the only one who's paying attention? So the episode ends on a cliffhanger with Bastion saying that Jaden has no way to defeat him in this duel now, even though he has Fusion Gate and he can do it. And that is the anticlimactic end of the first part of the Duel Off. This episode felt more like it was building toward the school duel more than it's actually setting up any kind of plot points within the self-contained story that is the Jaden versus Bastion duel. So there's not much to go on. It sort of feels like it exists by itself, and it's just there to sort of amp up tension and hype you up for the school duel. So, I mean, yeah, there's not much here. I didn't dislike this episode, but I didn't especially it was okay. There's some cute stuff going on. I kind of like the Gerard character because of his tragic backstory with the skyscraper card ruining his dueling career. I want to hear more about him. I don't really care that much about Bastion losing to Jaden because we know that's gonna happen, right? I don't know. There's just not much content in this episode. It was just sort of meh. But what isn't meh is the question, who had the best bum? And I think I have to give this one to Gerard because there was a very nice shot of his ass early in the episode when he was being introduced. It's not the best bum I've ever seen by a long shot, but I would like to see what it looks like in his scuba gear. Nice and shiny and glistening in the ocean spray. But who do you think had the best bottom? Water Dragon? Nah. Before I sign off, I want to give a big Bastion Misawa style posh shout out to the various Patreon pledges that we have. There they are. Oh, I look down on them just like I look down on all the peasants that surround me because I'm so very posh. Thank you very much. No, but seriously, thank you. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. I wouldn't be able to stand here in front of the school making some funny noises with my face without you guys. And one final thing, don't forget, we have a number of new t-shirts in our online store. Yep, if you go to sharkrobot.com/LittleKuriboh, I believe it is, you can check out a bunch of our new merch, including the super special awesome t-shirt, which I think is just bloody adorable. So please, pick one up if you like. I am shilling. Thanks for watching this one, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time for the Duel Off Part 2. I'll catch you later.
I'm not giving up. I'm gonna get this story.